Da, 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 da. I love that little tune, man.
Hey guys, me host Superstar. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'm here with Ryan Speaks Geek, and we're here for another episode of the House of Horrors podcast.
Yes, contrary to belief, I'm not dead. I'm actually alive, just on a different show.
That was the weird part about the Sunday, though. It was like very eerily quiet. It was very weird.
Eerily quiet. I love that. How would you describe Ryan's absence? Eerily quiet.
But let's see who we've got with us in the chat this evening. We've got Andy H, who's been waiting in the wings, chilling in the darkness, waiting for it to begin. Along with Shelley. Hello, Shelley. And she's what, trick or treat this week?
Finally,
she learned about Sam and not to blow out candles and pumpkins and just be good on Halloween. Don't do bad things. Otherwise, Sam will come and get you in the dark. Yeah, Sam comes and gets you.
Oh, if we could do like YouTube in 3D, that would like.
No, nobody wants this in 3D. Just spitting and
bad nothing like 2 dimensions.
It's like, I'm like Shrek in 2 dimensions. In 3 dimensions, holy crap! Joey B1, what's up, everyone? Hey, Joey B. Jacob Armadillo, love the name. Not just love the name, Jacob Armadillo. Andy Roberts, going well, my friend. I hope you are too.
Mate, earliest starting viewer is Cameron Fensler.
Cameron.
Hello, a long time ago.
PM.
If you're still watching, that's awesome. That's like, that's prime time, man.
Yeah, that is impressive. And
Jacob Armadillo, wife said hi.
Yeah,
hi, Mrs. It's Mrs. Armadillo.
Right, at some point this evening, I am going to grab that candle and think it's my coffee. So at some point this evening, you are going to see me go like this and burn my nose hair. It's going to happen.
Will Ash be on fire? All this and more coming up on the House of Horrors podcast.
We have so much to talk about this evening. We're also going to talk about our favorite vampire movies and kind of see if we can make a top 10 between the two of us. See if we can argue it out on which films get in the top 10. But we are excluding Dracula because everyone knows I'm a big Dracula nerd, and the fact that I think Dracula is strong enough for his own episode at some point in the future.
Now, when we say Dracula, let's just clarify some rules here, my pedigree chum. Yeah. Let's talk about it. So, are we talking about vampire movies that don't include Dracula, or are we? What's the rules?
So, your favorite vampire movies, as long as Dracula's not in them, it can be in the list. So we're excluding all films that include Dracula as a character.
Oh,
God, I think that makes it. I don't know. I think that makes it easier. There are a couple of good Dracula films, but there's more vampire films without him.
I know, but I was benching heavily on Bram Stoker.
Okay, that is a damn good movie.
It is. Oh, damn it! I have to really think now. Jeez Louise.
It would have been harder if I'd have said to you, let's rank Dracula via actor. Ooh, that would have been a discussion.
That is another episode.
That's an episode in itself. Yeah. That's a 90-minute argument right
there. Oh, Shelley, look, Halloween Decks in the Ranger. So on that note, people of the UK are aware that a big chain has currently gone into administration. That chain being Wilko's. Wilko's, by the way, everyone, is a huge chain in the UK. Unfortunately, it is going into administration. Someone might save it. We don't know yet. But they're having a big clear-out sale, which means they've got all their Christmas and Halloween decorations out, selling them off cheap. And I got an absolute doozy. It's a doozy.
See, I didn't know they were selling off the Halloween decks. I need to get in there.
Look at that.
That is awesome.
You screw it to the wall, but it's battery operated. So you can pop it there and it can hang down and everything. I'm absolutely stoked about this. That's going to be one of my favorite decorations of this year. Well, I say I got it. I actually wanted to get it, didn't buy it, and then was having buyer's remorse. And then I came home the other day, and my wife Caroline, had very bless her, went straight back into town and got it because she was like, "You'll be upset if it's not there." I was like, "I will."
Oh man. Shelley says number 1 has got to go to Lost Boys. We'll see. And we can agree that Twilight is not on the list. Yes, sparkly vampires are not on the list. I hope.
Killer soundtrack, but nah.
Speaking of Wilcos, I actually thought you had a Wilco outfit on.
No, do you know what this is? This is actually International Rescue. For any Thunderbirds fans.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Wilco.
I wouldn't put it. You're the kind of person that I wouldn't put it past you that if Wilco's was going bankrupt, you would buy the shirt off of one of the cast members. I could see you doing that.
I was just looking around to see if I had my Blockbuster hat available, but I don't. It's in the other room. No, I could have done the whole sponsor speech.
Because, like, can you imagine if somebody had the Bright Sparks to have saved the Woolworths jackets as well, with the little Woolworths logos on?
Oh, I'd have
collectors would go mad for those now. Interview with the Vampire on the list. We'll find out. I hope so. I do love that movie. Speaking of Interview with the Vampire, did you see that the Anne Rice Universe TV series that's not English, but anyway, the Interview with the Vampire and the Mayfair Witches are both going to be coming to, I think it's Hulu, very, very soon, which means they should be on Amazon Prime very soon for us to watch here in the UK.
Awesome.
Because you can't, you can watch it, but you've got to pay per episode. It's the one series you can't buy the whole series of, which irritates me because it's like £4 an episode.
I mean, non-horror related, but Young Justice, DC's Young Justice animated series, is one I'm desperate to watch because I've watched the first two series when they used to be on Netflix many years ago. Haven't been since, and now they've got that stupid thing where they're like on season 5 they're about to announce, and I still can't watch them anywhere unless I pay like £10 an episode. Je ne regrette ne pas.
So I do put some Halloween stuff and also have some advent calendars. Oh my god, advent calendars are out already. Wow.
Why does no one do a Halloween advent calendar?
Funko tried, but then they just repackage the same one over and over year after year and not realizing that everyone already owns it.
Yeah, and also like in the nicest way possible, it's Funko. Like,
I like the 13 countdown one from last year. It was I loved that one. It had the little Lost Boys in it, it had the Exorcist, it had some really cool characters in it. But then all they've done this year is just repackage the same one.
If they did a super a reaction one, I'd be all over that, or something.
I thought you were about to say if they've got a Super Sorrel one. That's where I genuinely thought you were going there.
If they've got a Super Sorrel calendar, every time you open a window, look
what I got. Calendar.
Look what I got. Not that calendar. I do not need to see what happens in July.
Well, I got a bed right.
Yeah. What I love though, we started on this chat, right? Like a couple of weeks ago talking about getting you a coffin, and then now you got a bed. Like you're basically the Dracula who went, yes, I like to be dead, but I also like to be comfortable. Like,
why am I slightly more Russian than Transylvanian?
Because Ryan has limited range.
Oh, man. Oh, Jesus. I was crazy for Blade and Queen of the Damned when they came out. Yes, Queen of the Damned. I was massive into Queen of the Damned.
I have not seen Queen of the Damned. All right. When did we let Skeksis in here?
That's what we need, a Super Sorrel calendar. Joey B, let's make it happen. And then Shelley's lowered the tone by saying it's only for OnlyFans. And because I'm legless, it would have to be called You've Been Stumped. So, moving on.
No.
I just ruined it for everyone. I went too far.
Amazing.
The super sorely different horror-themed costumes and backgrounds.
Honestly, I could try and make these jokes, but I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Way! So,
have you still got this snake print one?
Yeah, I'm still wearing the snake print one. That's my favorite one.
Awesome. That's so cool.
I make it sound like I've got like a wardrobe full of them, like different t-shirts.
Yeah, like a Simpsons character. He's just got a different episode every week. Like it's the same one, but no, he's got a wardrobe full.
So as Ryan's showing off the thing that he got this week, I might as well show you guys because I haven't done a short on this yet. So the thing that arrived today for me, look what I got. The giant, finally got her, the Haunted Mansion Bride. She sold out originally when she first came out. I've waited ages for this to come back in stock.
Is it like a re-release then? Is this like a second wave of them or of?
No, so basically, it's still the one from this year, but basically they're sold out like straight away, and obviously some people must have returned them, or they've got more stock from overseas that didn't sell from like Germany or something. I don't know, and they've put a bunch more on the UK site. So I've got one. That's all I care about. I've got one. I'm happy.
It does say Das Haunted Schwester on it, but
that's good. That's good is good. Just like that, we were cancelled.
That is good. Didn't you say it lights up though as well when we were talking?
Yeah. So the candle that she's holding lights up, and her face and hands are glow in the dark.
Oh, I'm a sucker for anything that glows in the dark. You know that.
And I got my shipping notification this week saying that the Annabelle for Monster High is on the way now as well. I got a shipping
What I'd love though is if like we've received the package, however, the box was already open and the doll is missing.
Dun, dun, dun.
And it's just sitting on your bed right now.
And you've gone ahead and just previewed the entire series of videos I was going to create.
Oh,
I've got a whole thing on myself called Annabelle Escapes.
Now you've got multiple Annabelle. You got Annabelles.
I have Annabelles. I have many Annabelles.
See a doctor?
So one thing that did come out this week, which I have to share with you because this is the funniest name for a product line ever. And as soon as I saw it, I thought it was adorable, and I had to buy like one of many because I'm a sucker for a good marketing thing.
Is it a blind bag? Oh, I wasn't far off.
Teddy bears.
Teddy bears.
The teddy bears have their picnic. So this is Zombie.
I am annoyed by what a good name that is.
Oh, mate. Halloween exclusive one called Squash.
Squash.
And Bones.
Jeez, how many are there?
Oh, there's 8 to collect in the big one, in the little coffin ones. But that's not all. So,
that's not all.
I spent a lot of money. So they do release these bigger ones in body bags that come with an autopsy report. And this one is a little vampire bear. He's a little vampire bear. He's got little fangs and everything. This one's called Bear. He's called Van Bear, yes, Van Bear. Let me just try and poke his head out because I don't want to pull him out because I'm going to do the full review later. But yes, there's little Van Bear, little Dracula bear.
That's both adorable and terrifying. The fact it comes in a body bag with an autopsy report.
Yeah, it comes in like a proper little deceased body bag.
Good God! Can you do that up and down or is it a fixed zip?
It's the zip only goes like 3/4 of the way down, then you've got to like pull him out. But because obviously, like you say, I love a good blind bag. They also do keyring versions.
Oh my God, mate! Anything in a blind bag, it could be rotten veg in a blind bag, and you'd be like, "Ooh!"
I love a good blind bag. So yeah, these are $5.99 each. These are cheap. I got like 6 of them. So there's 8 to collect.
Maybe that could be the spin-off series, is the Dead Vegetables, and call it Deadstables. Vegetables.
But yeah, Teddy Bears are an independent company here in the UK. They are a very small, up-and-coming little company. And I couldn't resist picking some up to help them out. And they're very cool. I've been watching them for ages come out. Like, they were going to be a Kickstarter originally. And then they're really just like, I think HMV and Tesco have picked them up here in the UK. So
cool.
They're a fun little line.
It started with Shelley, that creepy Chucky Sam doll. Andy, we call him Ryan and he's our friend. Oh, I mean, like, I don't know whether to be complimented or like insulted because it's Chucky and Sam, which are 2 of my favorites. So the fact I look like a weird pumpkin animatronic doll is quite terrifying.
What doll are we referring to? This doll sounds like it should be right on my street. Or are they referring to the bears? I don't know. I'm confused.
I think this was pre-bears.
Pre-bears. What are you talking about, guys? This sounds like something I should own. A cross between Sam and Chucky.
It does actually. Or have you already got it and not realised?
Or somebody's seen something on. Is it people? Are people referring to the? I know Sam's not on there. Sam's disappeared from the bed.
Did you blow out that candle?
No, it's still going.
Still safe.
Still going to drink it later on, though.
The chat. If anyone's wondering what's in the chat, it's the tone, and if you're looking for it, it's at the bottom because it has been severely lowered.
Oh dear. It's always Shelley and Andy. Shelley and Andy.
It's always Shandy. Shandy or
Shandy.
Shandy's terrible. Shandy in the chat. And Joby one normally comes in innocent, like, oh god, what guys are you doing? And then he's like just as bad as them.
Right. Well. Before we get into the little bit of toy news that we do have this week, I think we should play this because this is a lot of fun. It's on. Oh, it's all merchandise related. I can't see my screen anymore. There we go. It's all merchandise related. So the Tribute Store at Universal Orlando Resort and Hollywood as well has released this video for the Tribute Store, which is where they sell all their merchandise for Halloween Horror Nights. So I want to share this with you.
You gotta believe me.
However, they do have some very cool music playing over the top of it, and I don't want to get copyrighted. So we are going to go in. We are going to go in with this slightly lowered, so it's not going to be too loud, because we don't want to get any issues. But it's very cool because you can see all the merchandise, and I'm hoping to pick some of this up, and I can definitely help people out grabbing some of this if they need it from the States, as I have my contacts. And the more I buy, the cheaper it gets. So anyway, here we go. Let's have a look.
Me and my brother Carl, we were hitchhiking. No, true.
So this year's all based around like retro comic books from horror.
Oh, like the old pulp stuff.
Yeah. Look at this for a
coloring
shot.
book based off that. Whoa.
I mean, how cool is this shot?
Oh man, I want to go.
They have plush pumpkins as well. You can see on the wall in a setting that are out this year. But this is all. Yeah, so this is all the merch that Universal Studios create themselves, and then they'll go to the IP stuff in just a moment, like Chucky and Freddy, and there's some great looking merch this year.
And there's some great music that we will not play out loud due to copyright reasons.
That's why I'm talking over the top of
it. Oh, that's cool. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm here to talk about your missing husband. He was last seen in the castle, but we haven't seen him in 10 years, and now he comes in with 3 heads. Dun, dun, dun.
Why does it feel like all these characters should be going like, I didn't see it, I didn't do it, see?
You're a good kid, you're a real good. Turns out it was the octopus man.
Then they got the diner.
He's seen better days.
Hey, look at all that Chucky stuff on the wall. I want it all.
Love it. The food's to die for. Service in here is hell.
I just want to go for the food because look. Oh, yes. Chucky trifle cake. Nom nom nom.
Said the zombie. Eyes of the Ripper. Oh, the strings are out. It's about to get creepy. Oh, I love it. It's like an old Victorian Gothic street.
Yeah, it's Jack the Ripper, basically, this street.
Who we still don't know who it is. Maybe.
Spring-heeled Jack.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
It's 3 different rooms every year, and I'm just really excited to get the merch. I can still hear music. Get the merch queens in there and see what merch is in there. So I'm going to be grabbing all sorts. So I'll keep everyone posted as to what's available. And as well, in the UK, you can always find this merch as well from Double Box Toys. It is a little bit more on the expensive side, but there's no hidden charges like customs and all that good stuff. So if you want more of a peace of mind shopping experience, put it that way, you can always use.
Oh, there you go. The doll is by Trick or Treat Studios, apparently. Ash is wondering because he goes in there a lot and he's thinking, "What have I missed?"
It's a seed of Chucky Glenn doll.
Ah, Glenn.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Glenn Sturgis. Andy H. I swear, when I win the lotto, I'm just going to pay Ryan to read the phone book to me in that voiceover voice. Which one? I've done a lot of voices in the last 30 seconds. Andy H. Residence. Oh, 1, 2, 4, 5.
So, did you see the news this week that the 13 Ghosts the series is like being seriously considered now?
Yes, finally they're taking it seriously. Like there has been such a huge fan demand. Because isn't there? I might be wrong, but isn't there a book? It might be fan published, a book of the book that's in the film.
Oh, the actual book. Yeah, you can actually get the real book.
But isn't it really expensive?
I don't know. I've never looked it up, to be honest, to see if how much it would be. But I can imagine
that might be my Halloween treat.
I know they did actually produce the book. So yeah, they had all the backstories, didn't there, of all the ghosts, because it was featured on like a DVD special, if I remember back in the day. It was like there was a special DVD that had them all on. So I think somebody's just physically gone ahead and made the book.
I was obsessed with that film when I was younger. Like I just thought it was the absolute nuts. It was one of my go-to horror films I used to put on. Andy hates the 50s radio advert, Clone Wars style. Camino in trouble. The Jedi lost. Ayla Secura. I'm telling you what's a Bane then. Ayla Secura.
It's almost like a cross between Bane and Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars.
with the night newscaster in it.
Oh dear. Bring your droids in now.
For all your used parts, go to Watto's Scrapyard. It's the best place in Tatooine to get your used parts. But don't worry on a bargain.
Please make a bunch of these adverts for your YouTube channel. That would be hilarious.
Come down to the House of Horrors podcast. It's a frightfully good time with your host, Super Sorrel, and Ryan Speaks Geek. A shady pair of characters indeed.
You know Rocky Horror Picture Show, all the bits that are narrated just with that voice.
I'll just do that. I'll just re-release it with that. Hey, El Canda's channel. I had a history teacher, right? True story. It's a proper segue. Mr. Irvin, Richard Irvin, right? Ex-military, history teacher. He was so strict, but he was one of those things that didn't talk down to you as a kid. Like you really was, it was a mutual respect thing. On the last day of term, he jumped up on the table and did the entire time warp dance. And it was the greatest thing ever because, like the Spanish Inquisition, no one expected it. It was just suddenly there. It was just like, and the thing is, I think it was because he was convinced that when people told other students about it, they would never believe them. And I don't think anyone did, but it was glorious. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I forgot where I was going now. I've completely.
Sorry, I started reading the comments and I was like, El Tender. It's El Tender. Hey, El Tender. So I don't know about the phone book, but definitely a bedtime story in the Bane voice. Once upon a time, Shelley was looking for redemption. And there's the tone lowered again. Just off to rinse my mind with bleach.
Oh dear.
I love the comments on this thing because I would love to read the comments for it. In some ways, I wish I wasn't in it because I would love to just read the comments out of context without the live stream, like just to see if I could even work out remotely what had happened by the amazing story being told in the comments section. 50 Shades of Grey read by Bane. Like if you just read that randomly, you'd be like, "What the hell? How did we get there?"
Oh Jesus.
Right. What horror stuff? We talk about House of Horrors podcast. Ash, is there any other horror news in the horror world?
There's a little bit to get through.
You guys.
I'm just bringing up this last thing because I've just found something else that we can watch in a second because this looks cool as hell as well. But yes, so there's been a few other things this week that we need to talk about before we get on to our vampire sort of thing. I'm just pausing that there. There we go. Cool. So yes, Terrifier 2 is getting a Walmart exclusive 4K Ultra HD Steelbook release this Halloween. So that hopefully will be over here as well. But probably HMV, I reckon I'll probably get that.
I'm going to wait for the trilogy box set. I'm gonna hold off because the problem is as well. Like with shelf space is becoming more limited. The more box sets I buy. I mean, it doesn't help that I've got things like this giant Fly box set that takes up about 20 DVD space. But like, things like the Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, I got the smaller one because like that is a lot of films in a small space on my DVD shelf. Whereas if I start buying everything individually, and I don't want to go down the Steelbook rabbit hole, as awesome as some of them are. No, can't.
And as well, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, the new Dracula movie, is already coming to on-demand services, ready for this Halloween. It hasn't performed very well in the States. It's still yet to reach UK cinemas. Coming at the end of in the next week or so, I think it is. It should be with us. But yeah, it's not even hit UK cinemas, and the Americans are already like, yeah, we're done with it.
I wonder why they don't like it, because I've noticed sometimes, and I do apologize, this may sound borderline xenophobic, but like the American audiences do seem to have a very different taste to us. It's a bit like with comedy, like what sometimes lands there really doesn't land as much here, and vice versa.
Well, it's like over here, the indie movies always seem to do a lot more, be a lot more popular than what they are in the States. Like Terrifier was very popular in the States, but over here in the UK, it got a cult following so quickly. Yeah, everyone in the conventions were dressed as Terrifier within like a few weeks of it coming out. I remember it was just crazy.
Instant overnight icon. We've not had I would argue that probably Terrifier is probably the first film to start a new icon in recent years.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Joby one, Ryan. We really like ranch dressing. Fresh out of ranch.
Ranch. Let's not get kicked off the internet, right? 2 weeks in, third show.
I think Andy's going to start that. He's doing quotes in fucking Bane voice already. Like I can read it in Bane's voice in my head, but I'm not doing it out loud from 50 Shades. And why do you know so much about the 50 Shades script, Andy? No, wait, don't answer that. I don't want to know. But that's cool about this. Like the thing is, like I said, I would be curious to see what happens with the UK audience because, I think where we've got different tastes, I wonder if it's a bit more subtle and therefore, like you said, if it's more indie movie style, maybe it will do better over here. If it even gets to cinema, because unfortunately our cinemas aren't great at showing indie things anymore in the UK.
They're not.
If there's blockbusters out, they will just put like Mission Impossible on 20 times and then one showing of another film.
Which mine are literally doing right now. Barbie is still going strong in its 4th or 5th week, and yet some of the films, like Haunted Mansion, barely had a showing. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're still barely showing that here. I am going to try and see The Blackening tomorrow.
Ooh, that looks good.
Like the stabby comedy. That looks really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to sort of squeeze that in tomorrow because I like a good slasher, and I like when slasher mixes with comedy because I think that's weirdly for horror. I think slashers and comedy work really well together.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I loved when was it A Haunted House and A Haunted House 2, where the Wayans came back to basically make like a scary movie again. They were so funny.
Without the studio involvement.
Yeah. And they make a joke about it midway through the film, which I love. There's a bit where he sat at his desk and he sort of goes, why do they keep making scary movies without the Wayans? They're not even funny.
I love that you could only go so far with that impression because you were like, don't want to be cancelled off the internet.
Yeah, that's how I'm doing thinking this is a very stereotypical voice that I'm doing, so I'm going to stop right here.
Yep.
And I'm going to quickly throw up this picture and go, look what else how come out this week. Super 7 gave us Mars Attacks, and this is the ultimate action figure range. So this is a highly articulated 7-inch action figure. I'm so happy.
I actually, found that film a little bit scary when I was a kid.
Mars Attacks, it was a bit weird. It was a very weird movie.
There was just some bits in it I found sort of terrifying. I think it's because that's when I started. I was at the age where I was starting to think, what would I do in films? I love it comes with that head.
Yeah, so it comes with the head that's been blown apart as well. So you can have both the gunshot versions and the regular one. So,
I love that. Yeah. You'd kind of want one of each, though, wouldn't you? You want one laying on the floor.
You've already pre-ordered it. I've already got one.
Your pre-order thing's gone out the window now, hasn't it?
So for certain things, it has. Like, and as soon as I saw this, I was like, that is going to sell out like hotcakes. People are gonna, because it's, you don't see that kind of merch anymore for that kind of film. So you just, there's 1,000 Jasons, 1,000 Michaels, but there's only one Mars Attack. So
that should be the tagline when they re-release it for an anniversary showing, which I hope they do. But there's only one Mars Attacks.
So the next trailer I want to show you before we look at some other form of news is...
God, Andy's still going. I can't.
Andy will just keep going. That's the problem. He's got the power of the internet at his fingertips.
God. Sorry. It's just so... I can hear it in Bane's voice, and I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. I just... No. Oh.
So the next one I want to show you is got quite a long title. This is, and I'm going to mispronounce the crap out of this, but this is the Onyx, the Fortuitous, and the Talisman of Souls.
Not bad.
Oh yeah. There we go. This just sounds like a car wreck waiting to happen. It's a Halloween special, so here we go.
Love it, Andy. Do it. Fortuitous films.
Why does it feel like The Hobbit?
I was just thinking that.
Marcus Trilberry can't catch a break.
But don't worry, he works at a burger bar.
No respect.
What, Marcus? I was just wondering if you got my new name tag in yet? Because this says Marquay Dickberry.
This looks like he's right up your street.
Yeah, Marquay Dickberry.
Your stepfather and my lover.
And with his friends, he doesn't have any.
Oh no.
But all he needs is a chance.
Congratulations. I've been invited to Bartok's mansion to take part in a once-in-a-lifetime ritual in which he, along with 5 of his most loyal followers, will attempt to raise the spirit of the ancient demon.
You're not going anywhere until you scoop that litter box.
Now he's off on an adventure.
Is the ritual going to work?
Oh.
I'll find the present. The queen. The Viking. A werewolf. The witch. And you. Are the
Marquay.
virgin.
When it's the end of the world, a new hero must rise.
Patty Slinger?
When in doubt, skewer it out.
In the grimoire, after the ritual of Abaddon, there was a warning.
There was a warning.
The prophecy of fortuitous one.
What?
What?
Marcus Trilberry and the
I'd really love it if you called me Onyx. The Fortuitous?
Onyx the Fortuitous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hey. What are y'all doing in here?
Okay, right, yeah, that has gone right up my flagpole. I'm saluting that one. That's a bag of me right there.
That does look like. As soon as I saw the opening to that, I was like, "This has got Ryan all over it." But no, that looks funny. I'm actually intrigued by that. That looks fun.
I haven't heard anything about that. When you said like something a bit different, I wasn't expecting that different. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, like you say, I do love a good like horror film that doesn't take itself too seriously. So like Trick or Treat, it's incredibly lighthearted. You could almost like there's a bit of blood and gore in it, but you could get away with showing that to like a younger audience, and you'd get away with it. It's not that scary, but it's like that kind of a film. It's got a comedy to it. So yeah, I'm all about that.
Awesome. Seriously, these comments. Shelley's taking off clothes. Andy's like still going on. Joby one's also there. What's happening?
50 Shades of Bane is kind of sweaty in the chat. Oh my! What is? It's still going.
Mr. Gray, we'll see you now.
Now is not the time for fear. That comes later.
As he gently kissed the nape of her neck while snapping it.
Oh no! Don't, because that'll just set them off even more.
No,
They'll
you're
want
right.
More of that now.
Sorry, yep, no.
We'll end up doing this all night.
50 Shades of Bane will be this show's Cocaine Bear, won't it? Like in the end.
I remember when I was doing my solo shows while you were away, and I started doing this thing where I was doing impressions, and then that was it. Then Joey B and Andy and the guys just went nuts with it. When I was doing, every time they mentioned a new Universal monster, I stupidly gave each one a hand signal. So we had like,
oh my god,
Dracula.
I saw that.
Do you remember that? And then everyone was just going Dracula, Dracula, werewolf, werewolf. Like, nope, I'm not doing it no more.
You're like turning into one of those books when you were a kid. We used to just press the buttons down the side. Oh, brilliant.
So,
sorry, Super Sorrow, right? We're the worst / best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Trick or Treat Studios were very, very random this week with an announcement that it came out of nowhere about how many licenses they're dropping after this year. Did you see that?
No.
So
dropping.
Yeah.
I thought they were like grabbing more. I thought they were expanding.
Yeah. So basically, they do it seems like they.
Oh, when you say dropping, are you using the northern term as in like drop it like it's like, oh yeah, we're dropping this sick beat, or do you mean like they're getting rid of? Because I'm thinking getting rid of.
I'm not street enough to be using the phrase "drop it like it's hot."
Don't be so harsh on yourself.
No, as in literally, as in they're done with certain lines this time. They're moving away from them, and they want to because they're picking up new lines all the time. They're dropping the ones off that they've had like the longest kind of thing, which I get. They don't want to So some companies do milk the crap out of some of the stuff. So at least they're not milking. At least some of the stuff that they've got will be more collectible friendly. But listen to this list. So they are dropping at the end of this year. It says, we are saying goodbye to many popular properties in the new year. This means products are on the last run and will not be available after 2024. This includes the Chucky franchise, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, Universal Studios Classic Monsters, The Black Phone, The Purge, They Live, Dead Silence, Freaky, The Munsters, Nope, Us, American Werewolf in London, Jaws, and King Kong. That's that is a lot of franchises all at once. Oh. So basically, if you own some Trick or Treat merch from those properties, I'd hold on to it. It's only going to go up in value now.
I think do you know the one that makes me most sad is actually Season of the Witch, because it's a property that I don't think gets enough love. It's only just started getting some love.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a massively underrated film. It's underrated in the Halloween series, but it's just as a film on its own, it's so underrated, and it's been criminally under merchandised over the years. So that one's actually I'm quite gutted about. But the others, some of the others I can understand.
Well,
Chucky,
I think
they've had a lot of Chucky merch.
Yeah, I think what it is as well. I think because NECA are doing obviously all the new Chucky TV stuff, so people are going to be more interested in that than regular Chucky for a while. Obviously, Halloween is mainly the masks for Michael, I would say. And then Universal Monsters is now big at NECA. NECA are doing a lot of Universal Monster stuff, which is going from strength to strength. And also, I would say the same about Munsters, because Munsters, as much as people didn't like the new Rob Zombie version, the merch is still selling, otherwise they wouldn't keep producing it.
Yeah, and I think there's been people have gone like, this sucks, but now I'm going to rewatch the original.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's very weird. But as soon as they announced this is the weird part. As soon as they announced this, they then went, oh, look at this new stuff we're getting. So they've now announced that they're going to be taking over the Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. So we've got a boatload of new Texas Chainsaw masks coming. Let me show this page. So they've got these two masks that are coming out. And then if I scroll here, you can see they've got all the different masks coming out. These are all back for 2023. So these have been previously produced by them, but they're basically bringing them back.
Ooh.
So there's a hell of a lot of property and masks there.
Where is my Matthew McConaughey one? That's what I want. I'm sure as hell going to like being in this Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, I am. All right.
For people that are a fan, for people that are a fan of the Conjuring franchise as well, The Devil on Trial is a new Netflix documentary short series that's coming out very soon, which will explore the true case that inspired The Conjuring 3. So the film was the Conjuring 3 was The Devil Made Me Do It. It was that weird one that was kind of about satanic worship rather than demons, and I don't know. That's my least favorite of the ones. But it didn't have Annabelle in it. Meh. But
dude, you got an Annabelle problem.
I do. The Devil on Trial explores the first and only time demonic possession has officially been used as a defense in a U.S. murder trial, including for first-hand accounts of alleged devil possessions and a shocking murder. That this extraordinary story features reflections of our fears of the unknown. And obviously, it's the first time that Ed and Lorraine Warren were ever featured on television and things like that at the time. After this court case came out, that's when they made the books and stuff.
Okay.
So this court case kind of made Ed and Lorraine very popular in America, I believe. And this is what kickstarts like the entire Conjuring thing. So I wouldn't put it past Netflix that this is going to be like the first thing they produce, and then they'll do one based on Ed and Lorraine afterwards, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon
tie them together.
A series of documentaries.
Yes, definitely.
They did have a lot of like really big cases, and they were involved in a lot of quite famous ones.
Yeah, Amityville, that one down south in London, Exeter way. No, it's Essex, isn't it? Essex.
Yeah,
the thingy house.
Where I am.
The name of the house. Yeah, I never remember the name of the house.
Housey McHouseface.
Yeah, you've got that one down there, and I've got that one up here that nobody talks about. Yay!
Yeah. Hey.
I've got the fake one. Yes.
Yeah.
The one that I've slept in and slept like a baby. May I just say, I went there. It's a haunted house experience. Everyone's there doing the whole, are there any ghosts around? Knock back to me if there's a ghost. And I'm the one in the corner going, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I slept like a baby. And weirdly,
did anyone else hear the ghost snoring last night?
And may I say,
Enfield. Thank you, Andy H.
Enfield. But yeah, may I just say it was the best night's sleep I've ever had. So that's telling you something, innit? Creepy little houses and
God, that's typical you.
It is. But yeah, it made me laugh. Like, everyone else saying, "How did you sleep in a haunted house?" I'm like, the ghost left me alone.
Good.
The ghost saw the leg and went, "He's had a hard enough time. Let's not pick on him." I got pity haunted.
Now I'll tell you what. Right before we go, because obviously we have got to start talking vampires soon.
We do.
However, we set because people like the continuity of these things. That's what people watch us for, is continuity. We don't have any. We did set a 2-film challenge. We every episode we set a film or 2 to watch before the next show. However, that guy has been moving house, so he's only watched 1 of the 2 films. So we'll talk about the one that he hasn't seen first very briefly, which is because it's kind of topical for today. It's Vampire or Vampire. I don't know if it's meant to be vampire still, but it's Vampire without the E. If I was giving it a thumbs rating, I would go, it's okay. It's on Shudder, Shudder, and you can watch that through Prime or just get the Shudder app directly. It's okay. There's a couple of genuinely creepy moments in it, and there's some cool shots. It's obviously a lower budget one, but some of the ideas are really cool. I just kind of feel like it could have had a bit more in it. So when you watch it, because you will have to watch it, don't go in with high expectations. Go in with you should. It's all right.
I've seemed to have learned very recently that with the whole doing this with Shudder movies, I'm going in to all of them with very low expectations at the moment.
Yeah.
Either we're having a bad time choosing these things, or they're all pretty much on the same level.
Yes, say that, but then we talk about the one we both saw, which is Scare Package. Right, hands in the middle. 3, 2, 1. Oh! For those listening at home, we haven't got the visuals. Ash did a thumbs sideways, and Ryan did a very strong thumbs up.
It's a weird little movie, wasn't it?
Weird. It was bonkers. I loved it. It was kind of like if decent YouTubers made a horror film. I thought I'd add the decent bit in there, not like your TikTok twats. Like your actual proper YouTube ones who actually care about what they're doing. It was. I thought it was really good fun. It did all the proper tropes. It had little segments. It was a bit creep show-esque in that respect.
It was very creep show. It was very creep show. It reminded me
of
a
little
lot
tales
of
from the crypt, mixed with a little bit of. There was also some Shaun of the Dead elements to it.
Yeah,
in that kind of Edgar Wright humor. Like that you got Red on You type style things, and knowing like oh, you're the virgin, you're a bit like what we saw in that trailer, really, when they say about which trope they all are. You're the final girl, and there's a great bit where they're standing in front of a whiteboard, and it literally tells you exactly what's about to happen to each of the characters. And but it's just off to the side, and if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't see it. But if you watch it, like us horror nerds, you exactly look at it and go like, "Yeah, that's about right," and then you're just waiting for it. But for some reason, it just makes it funnier when it all happens. But I really liked it.
Yeah, it was alright.
Well, shall we set a couple of films for next time?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just do one?
No, I can do two again now. I'm back to normal now.
Okay, in that case, we'll pick one each. Yeah.
Live
on air. So I already know what mine is, and it's going to really annoy you.
Oh, go on. What have you chosen?
Scare Package 2.
Oh no!
I'm digging him straight in it.
I'm going to sit through the second part, which is something about Chad. Was it Rad Chad's Revenge?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yep. Okay. So that's what I'm making you endure. What are you making me endure?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm having a little looksy here.
Ryan could make a fortune on his OnlyFans reading all the Spain stuff in the Pain. No, not doing an OnlyFans. Not doing that twice. I mean, I'm never doing that.
Okay, I'm going to go with Communion Girl.
Communion Girl, never had it. Oh, no, that's Confusion Girl. Don't worry. I was thinking of another song. Communion Girl. Okay. Are we living in a communion world?
The ghost of a girl dressed for her first communion is ready to shed blood and take revenge. Interesting.
Okay.
Sounds
98
weird.
Minutes. Better be a good 98 minutes, Ash.
Mate, I could have made you sit through something really weird. There's some really weird things on here, like sorry, what's it called? Sorry about the demons. That looks a really weird one.
Oh, we'll get through to them. I have no doubt we'll get through them all. One day and Shudder, if you're watching this, feel free to sponsor us to just watch these all day. I could do that for a living instead. I would gladly just watch Shudder all day rather than actually do my actual job, because not that third party financial administration isn't really exciting.
Oh, mate. Right, before we get on to talking about vampires for the final part of the show, we do have one final trailer this evening to show you, which literally dropped about an hour ago now, which is the brand new Five Nights at Freddy's final trailer. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's excited for Five Nights. I am, because I'm a ridiculous fanboy. But we're finally getting the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and this is the final trailer. I hope they don't show us too much, so let's jump in and see what it's about.
I wonder if it's going to be the R-rated digital release that's coming, or if it's going to be a trailer for the PG-12A one.
Probably the PG-12A one. But anyway, let's find out.
Never open it. Never open the cupboard that makes noises, dude.
Piece of cake, Willie. Good. It's a security gig.
Stew.
Hello? Welcome to Freddy's. Have you met them yet?
Met who?
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy. Back in the 80s, some kids went missing.
What is this?
That's why the place shut down. The police searched Freddy's. Hey! They never found the kids.
Oh dear. Munch, munch.
Oh, was not expecting that.
Ghost
That
children
got me. That made me dumb.
possessing giant robots. Tell me how to stop them.
You don't. It's too late. He's coming.
Okay. You got me.
So that at the end was Golden Freddy.
Robots.
Ah.
That at the end is Golden Freddy.
Now, I don't know my lore that much on Five Nights at Freddy. So what's Gold Freddy?
It varies depending on the different versions, but basically Matthew Lillard's character is the villain. I think if it follows the story of the game, I'll end up giving you the entire ending of the film, though.
Oh, I do know the game because I've watched plenty of playthroughs. I've never played it myself. I've watched enough videos on it to have a rough idea.
So Matthew Lillard's character is the villain, and he's basically inside the Springtrap suit. There's also you got like the Golden Freddy suit, and then you've got the Springtrap suit. And when their eyes go red, that's when the demon children are possessing them to kill other people, like take revenge. So when their eyes are normal, they're just animatronics. And they're not going to get you, kind of thing. It's when their eyes go red that they're going to jump scare you.
I did genuinely jump when that hand came out. I wasn't expecting that. I thought the gears were going to start going, and then suddenly to see the hand, it freaked the crap out of me.
But they've done a very good job at keeping it very much related to the games and the lore and stuff. Because obviously it's the same guy that wrote the game who's wrote the film, so that has helped a lot. And it is very true to the game.
That's smart because that's the problem sometimes. I mean, Resident Evil franchise, anyone? I mean, guilty pleasures. I won't lie, but like, couldn't have been further from the games after a while.
Yeah. But somehow managed to spawn about 10 movies.
Welcome to Raccoon City, I think, is a great film. I really enjoyed 1, 2, and most of 3. The other ones are awful, but I can't help but sort of have a fairly good time with them, even though they're absolute nonsense and the continuity makes my face bleed. But when they did the reboot, which is then Welcome to Raccoon City, that was very much more of like the games, and I really enjoyed that one. Hasn't done as well though, and the series was okay.
Well, the next show that we're doing will be on the 13th, and how about we make that a zombie special?
Ooh.
We'll talk all things. We'll rate some zombie movies for that one.
Yes, I love that. Flight of the Living Dead. Here we come to the #1 spot.
I knew you were going to say Flight of the Living Dead. I was going through my DVDs when I was moving. I was flicking through my binders full of films and stuff, and I found it straight away. So I'm there looking. I was like, oh, there it is, Flight of the Dead. I've still got it on DVD.
Awesome film. Anyone?
Don't know why I own it, but
because it's awesome. And he's still going. Oh my god! And if you genuinely got the book in front of you, it's another thing where Andy's probably spent money buying the ebook to just comment on during the film, like the filming of this episode.
More than likely. Right, vampire movies. Let's talk vampire movies.
I'm going to kick us off with their left field one, if that's all right.
Go for it.
Okay, Stakeland.
Stakeland. I have not seen that in a very long time. In fact, it's been so long that I am quickly Googling to make sure it's the one I think it is. Yes, it is. Okay, cool.
I got that in a 3 for $10 DVD HMV. I used to go on payday and get like 3 or 4 discs for a tenner or whatever. Yeah. And I got that one because I was just like, I like vampires or whatever. Let's do this. And I really enjoyed it. When you don't expect to enjoy a lower budget film as much as that, I did. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, so this is the post-apocalyptic one, isn't it? It's like the end of days kind of thing. It's like
I think it spawned some straight-to-DVD sequels that I think, off the top of my head, I can't really remember. But if it has, maybe I should... it has. I should look that up, actually. I should look them up.
Oh, wow.
I need to look that up. Yeah,
no, that's a cool one. Okie dokie. One of my favorite ones, it's a tie for me between these two, but I think I'm going to go for this one. So my favorite one to bring it to the table first is Vampire Los Muertos. So the sequel to the John Carpenter's Vampires, basically with John Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay. Didn't
And
know
it
it even had a
also,
sequel.
yeah, so it's the John Bon Jovi one that also had Diego Luna as a boy in it. Have you never seen that one?
I'm beginning to think I haven't seen it.
So John Bon Jovi plays a vampire hunter that goes around sort of South America, Latin, and like Mexico and stuff like that. And he stops...
Jose used to work on the dogs.
And he stops in Mexico, and he's going in. There's been reports of vampires in this church, like young like teenage vampires. So this local lad wants to help him kill these vampires, and he's like, "You'll get killed. What you on about, kid?" And he's like, "No, I'm really good, man." So he's like, "Okay, it's Diego Luna," and they go hunt these vampires together. It ends up that this Diego Luna's got a natural thing for kicking vampires.
Oh, I have seen this one,
and he saves John Bon Jovi's life doing it.
Yeah, I have seen it. Yeah, that okay. Yeah, I forgot about it, but like, yeah.
There's a bunch of 90s sort of vampire movies, like 90s early 2000 vampire movies that everyone forgets about, and that's one of them. Because
it's one they don't forget about though. Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. That can go very high on the list because I love that movie so much. Just because it's so odd and so weird.
And no one expected what the twist was going to be. When I first watched it, I genuinely didn't know anything about it. I was around a friend's house, and I assumed it was going to be just like a Tarantino crime escapade thing. And then suddenly it was about vampires. I was just like, what?
How has Tarantino never had anyone have a lawsuit about the man? Because he literally wrote himself into it just so he could fulfill his own little foot fetish.
I know, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
And of course, Danny Trejo's in it, just because he was there.
It felt like the entire cast was just there. What you're on about? There's some great people in it. But when you look back now and you're like, there's Selma Hayek, Danny Trejo, Tom Savini, Trejo, Tom Savini, Robert Patrick. All of the cast are just mental now. When you look back.
Yeah, in hindsight, a lot of stuff's adding up actually.
Cheech Marin, Fred Williamson. There's so many of them. They're all like well-known people now. But they're all well-known back then, I suppose. As well. Yeah, and the second one I wasn't a fan of, Blood Money, I think it was called. But the third one, The Hangman's Daughter, I love that movie. I have a little soft spot for that movie.
Okay, I should give it a watch. Not by next episode, by the way.
Have you not seen it? Have you not seen the third one?
I've only seen the original, like the first one.
The second one, like I say, is okay. It's an easy skippable one. It's just basically expanding the lore of the first one. But the third film basically takes you back to the Old West. And so it's like vampires versus cowboys. And that alone should just bring you in. And it's Selma Hayek's in it. Selma Hayek's the Hangman's Daughter, basically.
Very cool. I like that. Okay, yeah, I will give that a watch.
It has a very
I'll give the other one a watch as well because I have to.
Yeah. It has a very Desperado feel to that one.
Good film.
Very good film. Love that movie.
Wait, whose turn is it next? Mine or yours? Mine.
No. Mine, because you brought Dusk Till Dawn. I just fanboyed all over it. Because I love that movie. I'm just looking at a list now. What shall I bring to the table next? I think I've got to do it. Interview the Vampire. I was tossing up between Interview the Vampire, Queen of the Damned. But Interview the Vampire is the much more sophisticated movie of the two. Queen of the Damned was just cheese, and it was the soundtrack more than anything that got me in. But Interview the Vampire, amazing story.
Yeah, I think I think the interesting thing was it was nice to see a vampire film with a really reluctant vampire, like it was like the inner turmoil thing. It wasn't so much. It wasn't just like a vampire, here to suck your blood type thing. More like that. It was a much more in depth look at vampires and maybe some of the internal struggle they have, or the way they try and assimilate into life still. And I thought it was a very good, very strong film.
And again, if you look at the cast list on that, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Stephen Reed, Kristen Slater, Kirsten Dunst, and Thandie Newton as well.
I always forget Christian Slater's in it.
Yeah, it's because he's obviously in it for all about 10 seconds.
Because he's the bookender, effectively, isn't he? He's the modern day bookend. But very good shout, very good shout.
But the best bit of that film is where he's on the piano. When the thing that killed him off in New Orleans.
Yes.
And he's like all decrepit on the piano, and he's like, dun, 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 and then the water has brought me back. Dun, 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 and he's like, Claudia, dum dum dum, you've been a naughty little girl. Love that scene so much. Oh, and the he dances with the dead body in Paris. He dances with that woman because he picks up that woman and that dances with her.
Gonna have to rewatch a lot of films.
There's life in the old lady yet. He actually plays a really good role in that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that one as well now. My next one, which I think is underrated and not enough people talk about, is 30 Days of Night.
Ooh, yeah.
Josh Hartnett, wasn't it? You know, I thought that was a really strong film, and the idea of being in this isolated, you're cut off from society and you're stuck somewhere where it is 30 days of night. I just thought was such a concept, and also the vampires were scary in it, like because they were relentless, and it was like that thing they just do every now and again. Like it's almost expected they'll come back, they'll feast, and they'll disappear again. And the fact that he has to turn himself into sort of a vampire, and there's like really cool scene where he rips a jaw off and stuff. There's some really scenes in it, really good scenes, and there's like the paranoid guy who ends up killing his family because he thinks they're going to turn, and it's a bloody good film.
Produced by Sam Raimi as well. It was a
now
Sam
that you've
Raimi
said
movie,
that,
one as well.
I can sort of see that actually.
Yeah, bloody fly. And then we've also in that film as well, which I know not many people. Well, people do know the names now. Actually, to be fair, when this film came out, probably not as well known as what they are now. Like Manu Bennett's in that movie.
Yeah,
and Mark Boone Jr. as well.
It's a strong cast, and the thing is, everyone acts in it well. There's not like a weak link. Sometimes you run the risk when you do films like that of having the weak link that sort of lets it down. But that is just, it's based on a comic book. Also, hi, Wet Boy 40/Graham. Is that like an identity crisis? You don't know which one you are. With it is I, Wet Boy 40 or Graham.
Oh, and Danny Houston as well's in that movie as well, and Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, it's a bloody good film. Bloody good film.
Bloody good film. Like it. Thanks a lot.
Your next one, sir.
My next one. Just because it was a big part of my childhood coming up, and I loved it. Underworld.
Yeah. Oh my god, I kind of forget it's a vampire film.
Yeah, because for me, it falls into one of those kind of like films like Van Helsing, The Mummy, Underworld, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It falls into that category for me with these kind of films. Like they were all like kind of more about the action than the horror. But when that film came out, I think it was just because it was vampires versus werewolves, and they made up that whole story, and it kind of was very similarly. Yeah, and I was a big role player as a kid. I was into role-playing games. So I played like Vampire the Masquerade and the New Moon Blood Werewolf tabletop game. So this was very much in that sort of wheelhouse for me. It felt very much like you could go away with your friends and recreate that with like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that quite easily.
Yeah, I can see that.
World to life.
Makes sense. I mean, it is like when you're a kid, it's almost like when you used to do things like that, you know, it's like the old movies, isn't it? Frankenstein versus, Frankenstein's monster versus Dracula, or the Wolfman versus, it's always having the old verses, but I'd like to add a serious element to it, not be like not be a gimmick, and it actually be about like there's this long history, and obviously then like the half breed between the two and stuff like that. I've got all those on DVD, and I have to rewatch them as well. Oh my god, my rewatch pile was just like everything on this episode so far.
Yeah, because I love the fact that when only one elder at a time, and they have to share the memories of the others, and I liked all that concept of like how the vampires exist and things. It was a very cool little like way of writing it. Very different.
Yeah. Good choice. Very good choice. My one's a more modern one.
Ooh.
Blood Red Sky.
Is that one on the airplane?
Yeah, foreign film. Very, very well done. Really freaky.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I thought, like, again, it's hard to do a modern twist of things, but to make it like an actual illness sort of thing, and then it sort of, I don't know, it's one of those films, it's just something escalates. It just continuously gets escalates, gets worse and worse. It's like, as in like, not the film's brilliant, as in the situation. I remember when we watched it, my other half, like Caroline chose it, like my wife, and it was her choice for film night, and I was like, oh, it looks like it's going to be okay. And then by the end of it, I was like, that was really good, actually. And that was a really good new twist on a vampire film that doesn't involve Dracula.
Well, I think we all know where I'm going to go next with my final addition to this story. Lost Boys. And my reason for it, I actually have a reason for it. It isn't just because I'm a massive fanboy. Well, it is. But one of the things about that film that I love to this day, and I've said it on multiple episodes now, the fact that most of it was made with practical effects, so that even now, that film doesn't look, even though it is old as hell, the film just doesn't, like, the effects don't look old. The effects still look good now.
Yeah,
because
I would agree with that.
Because they went for cosmetics rather than CGI. Like, if you look at the old CGI movies, like we mentioned before, like Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter film, my God, that's aged. Whereas, like Lost Boys still looks as good as it did back in 1980 when it first came out.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we saw it on like an anniversary showing on the big screen, and sometimes when you see anniversary showings of big old films, you start to notice a few things. Like we saw Total Recall the other day on the big screen, and there was a couple of bits in that where you're like, no, but practical effects are king, because when you see them on the big screen, they, like you said, they age the best, because there's obviously there's no aging to it, unless it's like really badly done. But if it was really done well in the 80s and it looks really good now, that's the thing about it. And I agree, Lost Boys was awesome. I mean, it's nothing compared to the sequels, but God, I was joking, everyone, by the way, just throwing out there, internet, before you murder me. Yeah, good deal. I can't top that. I will gladly put Lost Boys. I will concede Lost Boys can win that one.
Yeah, I think Lost Boys at the top, and then I definitely think maybe Dusk Till Dawn second, because that is, again, for a whole different reason. That was like the one that everyone in our generation watched coming up. That was like one of those films that like you had to see.
Yeah, that was the proper one you borrowed off your mate, or when you went round your mates, you watched. And because it was normally their older brothers or something.
Admittedly, looking back now, all the vampire films that I loved as a kid, like Dusk Till Dawn, Lost Boys, Buffy, they all had monster vampires rather than the sparkly, horrible vampires we get today. These were all monster vampires rather than, they were all like the big buff brow looking vampires.
But I think that's because it was like, so the ones that are in like Twilight. So if we'll briefly talk about Twilight. The thing about Twilight is it's a teen romance stories,
Yeah.
Of course they're going to be sparkly. Of course, like I said, I will defend the film soundtracks, because I think all the soundtracks have been absolutely killer. But the first one, I actually don't think is a bad film. I'll put my hands up and say it. I don't think the first one's a bad film. I quite enjoy it. There's a joke about the fact that I'm bi there, maybe, that he's bi. He can stand the sparkly vampires. When you're 100% straight, the sparkles, they don't work on you. But it's interesting. But since then, I think there's been an idea of like much more romanticizing the vampire thing. So it's not just like you said. It's not like vampires used to be monsters to be scared of. You got to hide your kids, hide your wife, and now it's more like, marry me, vampire, and let's live forever.
So I see it as films in the 80s had vampires that were the monsters that were the, to be hunted down. Whereas you have this moment where after like Interview the Vampire, Queen of the Damned, vampires became a lot more sexy.
Yeah.
Definitely that's where it went, which is weird. But yeah.
Well, I suppose if you live forever, you got time to go to the gym.
Apparently so.
Skincare is absolutely vital when you're 163 years old.
Andy said, no Salem's Lot. Well, Andy, I say to you, my friend, stay tuned, because I'm pretty sure that after Zombie Week, we'll have to go Stephen King Week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely, it'll definitely be on that list, along with Shining and many others.
There's probably a few omissions that are quite obvious, but it's because there's stuff in the works, guys. All right, be patient with us, all right? Technically, this is only our third episode, and like, it's been a long week because we did the 3-week gap on this one, obviously, because you moved it. So, but we're back to the 2-week schedule now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so as next show, guys, will be on the 13th, Wednesday the 13th. So I'm
That
just
spin-off film that never quite took off.
Yeah, I'm just looking ahead, and that means that we'll be going out on October the 25th. So we'll have to have a Halloween special that week.
Halloween special on the House of Horrors podcast? Never, unheard of. I'm looking forward to the Christmas one we do when we start talking about like Christmas horrors.
So the Christmas one, sadly, will be after. It'll be the 27th when we do the Christmas one.
It's still the festive season. That's fine.
We can do Wednesday the 13th. We can do it on that one.
There's always time for festiveness. What do we do in the middle of New Year horror?
New Year horror.
New Year, new kill. You know.
New Year, new kill. Jesus.
Oh.
I promise I'll be quiet in the next one.
No, you
Andy,
won't,
you're never
Andy.
quiet.
That's such a lie. No one believed that. You didn't even believe as you typed it.
But guys, I think that is kind of a natural stopping point right there.
Wrap that up.
So thank you all very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate your time. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, as I say, on the 13th, for another round of House of Horrors, where we'll be talking all about zombies, and hopefully we'll try and get a special guest in for that as well. I'm going to go scour the internet for zombie guests, dig one up fresh for you. But guys, Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'm your host, Super Sorrel. Oh, go on.
Creep it real.
Guys, thank you very much. Until next time, creep it real.
Real. Love it.
Oh, and I haven't got the outro, and I'm not.
We're so organized every week.
So organized every week.